All right. Peace, everybody. We are live. I am so excited because two things are happening that are so magical and wonderful. One, I'm here with the founder. Hello, somebody. So we're going to clock that T. Yes.
Love you.
Zahraa Alaf. I want to make sure I'm saying it right. Alar Alrafish.
Yes, Alrafish. That's perfect. Look at you. I love this.
I've been practicing because names are important, honey. And I
They
was like, nope,
are.
we're going to get it right, get it tight.
Absolutely.
And I'm also here in one of my mom's best friends' pop-up boutique, and we'll talk a little bit about that in just a minute because friendship, like, so obviously my mom made her transition last year, but one of the ways that I feel that I'm able to keep her legacy and love alive are through her girlfriends.
Absolutely.
They
That's
are, they have been so supportive to me and my sister being is alive, right? And so today, you and I are going to talk about a different type of grief. And I think it's the grief that we don't often talk about, and that is the grief of friendship breakups. So
that's one
you
of the
have,
hardest ones.
right? And I
Yeah.
know you know, and I know this has to come up with Arab Women United because, yes, obviously, your organization is founded on the empowerment and upliftment of Arab women across the diaspora, but also part of dealing with humans. Humans come with stuff and messiness, and I'm sure when you're founding an organization, creating an organization, we start, of course, with our friends,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
But inevitably, right? A friend may not necessarily be a good partner in business. A good business partner may not necessarily be a friend. So if you can just share with us just your own story and navigating, your girlfriend, your friendship relationships, running a business, how have you been able to navigate like those tender places?
I definitely feel like it's one of the most challenging breakups in life to navigate is when it comes to those friendship breakups because it's not just a one-sided thing. It's not just a, oh, well, she said this and now we're just no longer friends. It's really a lot more complex than that. And like you said, when it comes to business, a lot of friends might see that you're doing well or you're wanting to start your own business, and they might not necessarily know how to support you in that way because they've let their own fears or their own insecurities kind of get in the way of themselves. And so a lot of times, friendships do end because of those reasons. And we've had a few members talk to us about this from Arab Women United and tell us, like, I wanted to start my own business, or I told my friends, and they're not very supportive. They're not really like talking to me as much. And we have to learn that it's not something personal to us and what we might be doing. It might just be something they have to deal with within themselves, of understanding that, hey, this is something that I'm happy for you, but maybe they just haven't had the capacity to know how to support you in that way. They've never had a friend come to them and tell them, hey, this is what I'm doing and I'm actually doing it. And so it can be something really hard for people to see, is when they see others doing what they wish they could have done, or vice versa.
Okay, so you hit on some really big things because we confide in our friends, right? We
Mhm.
confide in them the things that are tender to us. And sure, it's one thing to confide in, hey, I met someone. Hey, I'm breaking up with someone. Hey, can you help me with my kids? But hey, I have a business. I want to start this business. Or can you buy a ticket? Or, can you come to my event? Is a little different. And I love how you also said that it can also bring up the shadow part of ourselves too. Like, I envy that. Like, how is she doing that? Isn't she afraid what other people are going to say?
Yeah.
And you and I definitely, as BIPOC women, we're often told to maybe go the road a little more travel. Doctor,
Mhm.
lawyer, accountant. Am I,
Mhm.
you're gonna be poor, be a teacher. Like, those are those are like
Yeah.
the acceptable career pathways, but entrepreneur.
It's like, wait a minute, what? You want to do what? It's just something out of the ordinary for women like us to decide that we want to be our own bosses and that we want to do our own thing. So it's something out of the ordinary. People are not used to it. People are still scared and afraid of what that journey might look like for us. So it's definitely something that's newer. And, you know, more women are coming out and speaking on a lot of these things with that go on within their communities, right? And they're being more open, loud, and proud about so many of these topics of conversation that, you know, go into business. So I do feel it can be a fear. It can definitely be a judgment thing as well. Like, you know, judgment does come from those who wish they could do certain things, but often don't. So yeah, that's a big part of it.
Yeah. And I think too, also because you and I are also BIPOC women, you know, in our communities, let's just say things don't always stay within the family, right? So, you know, you have the extended family members because our communities, for obvious reasons, historical reasons, are very tight knit.
Yeah.
So, you know, you'll hear or be at the grocery store or, you know, how's your little business going?
Oh God.
You know, your aunties or cousins or, you know, whomever, and of course they mean it with love when you're at the family gatherings. So you quit your job. Your mom told me you quit your job.
Insanity. It's so true, because all the aunties all of a sudden know your business, like right after you tell your mom something, and you're like, wait a minute, how did they all find out? It's so true, and it's so disappointing sometimes because you feel like you just want that support, and then they just kind of, you know, they go tell everybody else, and everyone else just kind of takes the, let's say the person who's telling them is coming from it in a negative perspective. That's the perspective that they're most likely going to take about the situation, right? Whereas like if the family member is like, Ber-Henda started her own business, I'm so proud of her, she's doing such a great job, then that really sets the energy for how they communicate with you and how they support your business. So it's really about that intention of, okay, let's come into this situation positively. But I do feel at the same time we have to understand where people's mindsets are. They might just, like I said earlier, it might just be fear, it might be anxiety, it might just be their own shadow that they haven't been able to heal yet, is that they had a passion and they didn't pursue it, and now they see you pursuing a passion, and it's like, wait a minute, like, what are you doing, right? So it's like what you said earlier, it definitely has a lot to do with the shadow.
Yes, and I think because generationally, if we are, you know, being honest, our parents, our grandparents grew up in an era and time where you just didn't do things like this.
Yeah.
Being allowed to, it could even bring about a target on your back to do these things. And so, you know, we look to our girlfriends sort of, well, we look to our girlfriends maybe in some ways to be almost everything for us, the things that maybe our parents can't be, our husbands or boyfriends can't be, you know, things that again other people just can't be. It's like, I want my girlfriend, I just need your support, can you witness me in this and maybe even hold this for me because I don't think I can do it, like I'm scared to do this and I'm looking to you, friend.
Absolutely. We need that. We need that reassurance. We need that support. And as women, it's actually more important for us to have that one-on-one connection and that support, and to feel heard and to feel seen by our own friend group. And I feel so many of us, we struggle finding that right friend group, right? Like it's just about, we have to make those connections, and we have to make sure that when we are presenting ourselves, we're being authentic in the way that we present ourselves, so that the right people are attracted to us and to our energy, and not the wrong people, right? So I think, yes, absolutely.
Girl, because you are preaching on today. Listen to me, honey. Listen.
Learn from the learned from the best. Don't know why my English is terrible.
But listen, look, it's sisterhood. I understood everything that you just said. When I say my sis over here is preaching a whole word, because there is a whole spiritual, emotional component, I believe, to this entrepreneurial thing. I think that as you name, there's a change that we go through when you start really pursuing your dream, your calling, you know, whatever it is. Even when I've noticed, even friend groups, when one friend loses weight or gets engaged or, you know, has a baby. Like I remember being at an event, and I kid you not, all of, and I say us, is at the time, all the single women with no kids were like literally in one room. And then all the moms and the wives were, and this is the same person. We're supposed to all be friends. And I don't know how this happened, but literally they were in talking about the mom stuff. And it's like me and the other single childless women, I was like, this how I go all the time. It's like, didn't you? Yep, this was last year too. Like we are kind of pushed off,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because we're not in the club of wife or children. And sadly, you know, when I look over it now, some of them are divorced
Yeah.
now.
Mm-hmm.
And we, you know, and that also happens too in friendships. You know, I have, you know, good girlfriends who have gone through that part too of like divorce. And so now like they have like the scarlet letter on
Yeah.
them. And then, you know, the wives aren't talking to them anymore. And it's so hurtful because it's silent, like they're not directly.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about the passive aggressiveness too, because I know also you have a degree in social work. So if you can talk about some of the behavioral pieces that happen and how they impact our psyche.
Yeah, I feel a lot of that kind of comes from the animosity and the jealousy. So, when that comes to kind of like the passive aggressiveness, the hatred that sometimes you might feel from others when you're making that decision, whether it be to get divorced, to leave a job, leave a career, maybe focus on yourself, do your own thing, a lot of what comes from others comes from that jealousy and that inner kind of conditioning of competition. We, as women, we're almost wired to compete with one another, and that's not how it should be. But we see a lot of the times in societal standards, it's, oh, well, she's doing this, so I need to do better. I need to do that. Or she's doing this, so I need to do that. Like, it doesn't matter what others are doing, but because we're so conditioned to be better, be better, be better, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to be superwoman. Like, it's almost that back and forth animosity, like I said earlier, and it stems from jealousy at the end of the day. So as women, we need to take a step back from what society has implanted into our heads and really think, why not uplift one another? Like, why not ask her, okay, she's doing amazing, she's doing all these cool things, instead of sitting in my envy, why don't I ask her, hey, how do I become that way? How do I do that? Can you help me? And most times women want to help each other. We want to see each other succeed. So she'll tell you, hey, this is how I started my business, or hey, this is what I'm doing now. And so instead of having this inner envy take control, we just need to kind of let that, we do need to reflect on that, right? We need to reflect and we need to ask ourselves why. But then after we ask ourselves why we feel that way, we need to take a step forward and say, I don't want to be a hateful person, or I don't want to do that, so let me do something about it, right? So that's kind of the social work perspective on it.
Well, let me just say this. Please put that on a t-shirt. Sit in my envy.
Mm-hmm.
That part right there, sitting in my envy. And again, we know that colonization, white supremacy does it to us every time, because the whole premise which keeps the empire in place is their ability to procreate. And
Mm-hmm.
so we have internalized our worth, our value, even on the side of those who have been oppressed. Those are the standards that we aspire toward, right? So you just named something I think that is just so the sneaky way that I don't even think we understand how it seeps into our psychology and into our mirror, and then how we then show up based on a infrastructure that we had no hand in creating, like at all, but we play in it. We play in it. So I love that you name that. So I mean, of course, you girl, you know, you and I could talk all day long, and I really do want us to go even deeper into this dialogue, which we will. So on October 23rd, Amazing Good will be one of the three panelists that will be having an open discussion about relationship breakups. We don't talk about this in the personal development space. We don't necessarily talk about this in our religious spaces or spiritual spaces. We don't talk about it in business, but inevitably, as you pursue your dream, your purpose, it can shake up and become an irritant to those that are closest to us. And then we talk about our girlfriends and the loss of those friendships. And she will be giving her perspective. And of course, I'm gonna strongly encourage bring information on Arab Women Unite, because this is an amazing sisterhood. And it is an inclusive sisterhood. I mean, yes, it centers Arab women, but you can be Muslim, Christian, whatever, and come into the space because they believe, our good sis right here believes wholeheartedly in supporting other women. So we want you to grab your ticket. You can go to my Instagram, link in bio. You can go to my Facebook page. It's there. Head over to the website, get your ticket, or two or three. Hit me up in the DM because I do have a discount if you want to get a block of tickets, because this is such an important conversation. And again, one that we don't have enough of. And Zahara is going to offer her wisdom and insight, and also an entry point, because as she stated, she has women in her own community that have come to her, hey, this is what's really going on. I'm feeling isolated, or I'm going through the friendship breakup. And I believe that the friendship breakup actually can hurts more than our intimate partnerships, because it's like, you really know where the bones are buried. You know all the buttons to push. And like I was saying, earlier to someone, it can be difficult sometimes when you have mutual friends. You don't want people to like pick sides. So it can be like a whole messy thing, right? So before we go, Sahara, tell us what you are looking forward to most about this conversation and what you hope people will take away from it.
I'm really, really looking forward to having this conversation and just being vulnerable in a space where we can all share our own experiences and share how we really feel as women who want to succeed in the, entrepreneurship field, right? And so I'm really looking forward to meeting the other panelists, meeting everyone that's coming, and just really get to know everyone's business as well. I know there's going to be a lot of entrepreneurs there. So I hope everyone can take a little something away. I hope, they can learn a little bit about themselves, about the people that they surround themselves with, and I hope it can be insightful.
There is anything, this is an indicator to me of like what's getting ready to go down, because already you have hit us with so many truth bombs and awarenesses. I mean, sitting in our envy to exploring, being a safe space to talk, or normalizing how we feel. Listen, I want y'all to come. No, don't walk, run. Okay, get your tickets. Get a ticket for a friend, and maybe this could be a point of reconciliation, because we also know too that happens as well. So maybe you've been mending your girlfriend relationship and say, hey, I know it's been a while, friend. I know we've been talking about getting together. And, that also happens too, that we're going to get together. We're going to get together. And then it never happens. Let's make it happen, because that's the other thing too about friendships, breakups. They can drift if we don't make the effort to, let's put a date on a calendar, open up your Google Doc, open up the calendar, put it right in there. We can drift apart. And it's like, next thing you know, it's been 6 years. And you're like, the last time I talked to you, we said we were going to get together, and it's a year later. It's 5 years later. It's,
Mm-hmm. I think it's where we, like you said, it's where we have to kind of be intentional about taking that time, and maybe every couple of days and sending a text message, or just being intentional about holding space for that friendship, and checking in with the other person, and really giving them space as well to, make their own decisions about the friendship too, because, we can't force others to be our friends. If they feel like us doing our own thing and taking on this new journey is too much for them, and they can't be the supportive friend that they need to be, then it's completely okay for them to take a step back and say, hey, I don't think I can do this friendship anymore. And of course, like you said, it hurts really bad, because they know those, it's like, all the little things that I know, and the secrets and the relationships that I've been in. I confided in you about it all, but sometimes it's better to let go than to keep holding on to something that's just not serving you anymore.
Oh, listen, that is a word. So if you are navigating a friendship breakup, have been through a friendship breakup, coming on the other side, no matter where you are falling on the spectrum of a friendship breakup, we strongly encourage you to come join us, join in the conversation. I definitely want to leave room and space for us to chat. So go to I'll drop the Facebook link. We already have a group chat. We started, and women have already started introducing themselves. We have yes. So make sure, Zahara, before we go, if you're on Facebook, send me your Facebook so I can friend you, so I can add you into the group chat. But women, yes, people are showing up and sharing where they are, where they're from. And I think it's so beautiful to see all of these amazing women, sharing their vulnerability. So if you too want to get on the group chat, send me a friend request on Facebook, and we can definitely add you to the event. We encourage you to get a ticket, 2 or 5, to the event, because we're going to feed you. Networking happens afterwards. And so with that, Zahara, as always, it is such a pleasure to see you, friend. I'm so glad we get to do this and be on this, and be on this journey together. I love you so much, and I love the work that you are doing out here with your organization, because it is so crucial and needed, and we need those soft places to land. So thank you, friend, from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you so much for having me and for
Yes.
trusting me in this. I'm so honored, and I'm so excited to see you soon, and I'm excited to see everyone there. I'm really, really excited to see some new faces as well.
Absolutely. So I will see you soon. Get your ticket, y'all, because space is limited. We only have about 35. We keep it small intentionally because we don't want anyone to get lost, and we want to go deep in these conversations. So see you soon. All right, Zahraa, see you soon, friend. All right, y'all. Bye for now.